Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to my video class again. Dear students, today I am going to start with the basic stages of writing process. Basic stages of writing process. Dear students, if we want to write on something, we have to follow some stages. We cannot write in a disordered way. We have to write in a logical way, organized way. Our organization should be well arranged. So dear students, to write something properly or exactly, we have to follow some stages. A writer generally follows some stages. So dear students, today I am going to discuss these stages to you very shortly. So dear students, you have to keep in mind that these stages will be given as short questions in your examination. So dear students, you have to know very nicely about these stages from your writing skills. So dear students, look at the board. There are 5 points or 5 stages, and the first stage of writing process is pre-writing, then drafting, then revising, then editing, and after all publishing. So dear students, every stage has its own criteria. So dear students, a writer follows some techniques or follow some ways to actually make his writing very good. So dear students, first of all we have to discuss or we have to know about the pre-writing. Pre-writing, there are 2 words in this word. Pre-writing, writing before. Dear students, before writing something you have to pre-write. This pre-write will be in mind, will be in brain. So dear students, pre-writing is the process where a writer tries to think about something. So dear students, here the process is limited in thinking or actually just like planning. This is the stage of planning. Here the writer plans something to write. So dear students, here the ideas, here the thinking level of the writer is limited in ideas and planning. He does not actually keeps his ideas in written papers. Here the ideas is in mind and or in brains. So dear students, pre-writing is the process, primary process or primary stage. Here just thinking. Here the ideas are limited in thinking. They actually don't get written shape actually in this stage. This is the stage of planning. Just keep into mind, pre-writing is the stage of planning. Here the writers plan something to write. That's actually all about the pre-writing. So dear students, now comes the point drafting. Drafting is the process that comes after pre-writing. Dear students, in pre-writing stage, a writer tries to accumulate some ideas in his mind, but doesn't write it on paper. But in drafting, here the writer tries to write his writing topic. So dear students, drafting is actually written shape paper. Here the writers actually write his materials or keeping ideas from the pre-writing stage. Pre-writing stage helps the writer to actually make his draft. In drafting, a writer actually includes his ideas and try to write in a draft. Try to write a draft, and this draft is this draft is a part of his writing, but it is not final. Here it is limited in draft. And drafting process, drafting means the process that is actually applied to draft something. Here the writer draft his writing topic in a paper or on a paper. So dear students, drafting is the process where the writer actually draft his writing on paper, accumulate his ideas in a written process or in a written way. So dear students, after pre-writing, the writer draft, and in a word, drafting is the process which is applied to draft something. So dear students, after drafting, we have to follow the stage of revising. Dear students, it is very much important stage for writing skills. So dear students, in writing process, revising is important because after drafting there may have some ideas that are missed, or there may have some ideas that are wrong, and there may have some ideas that are full of actually drawbacks. So dear students, in revising process, a writer tries to revise his draft. Here the draft is revised by the writer in the way so that the writer can find out his actually problems or problematic areas. Here it is very much important to note that revising process helps the writer to find out his mistakes. There may have some things that is mistaken by the writers. So the writer tries to find out his mistakes or problematic areas by revising process. So dear students, revising process helps the writer to actually make his draft a proper one or perfect one and actual one. So dear students, after revising, a writer may think that this topic or these lines should be cut and this line should be included. So dear students, in revising process, a writer tries to mark his actually writing with his actually revising process. So dear students, after revising process comes the point of editing. Editing is the process that is applied to edit the writing. Dear students, after pre-writing, a writer actually drafts something, or after drafting he revises it, and after revising he finds something to be edited. So dear students, after revising, the writers try to edit his findings. Here he can cut something, or he can include something, or he can include new ideas. So dear students, editing process is very much important, because after editing process a written piece is going to be published. So dear students, after editing there is a written copy that can be called the final copy of writing. So dear students, this editing stage is very much important for a writer to actually transfer or to actually hand over his written papers to the publishers. So dear students, editing is the process which is applied to edit the written papers or to edit the actually writing. So dear students, after editing process comes the point of publishing. Publishing is the stage which is the final stage of writing process. Dear students, after editing, a written piece is handed over to the actually publishers. Then the publisher scrutinize it and publish it and give it to the printing. So dear students, publishing is the last stage, and this after publishing, the copy of the written papers gets the shape of a book. Dear students, after publishing the book, a writer can again find out his faults or drawbacks or something actually needed to be edited. So dear students, this five stages are very much important to make your writing logical and well organized. So we have to know about these five stages very clearly so that we can write our materials actually in an exact way. So today my discussion will be finished here. If you have any questions over these five stages, you can ask me on comment section, and you are requested to make your notes ready on these five stages, because in your final examination questions from these five stages must be given. So dear students, we have to know about these five stages to actually apply it in our own writing in your future life. If you want to write something, you can follow these stages. These five stages will help you to make your writing proper or perfect or actual. So dear students, I would like to finish here today. You are instructed to study regularly and pray to the Almighty Allah. Pray for us. I pray for you all, and all of you are also suggested to stay home, stay safe. Thank you very much.